Hey, beautiful people, welcome back. If you're new, welcome, welcome. My name is Georgia. So let's get into the second part of the interview that Carlos King did with NeNe Leakes. So I remember I did a review on part one. If you haven't watched that review, I'm gonna link it above and also in the description. But in that part one, she talks about what's been going on in her personal life and a lot of other things. But I hope I could get through this second part without giving too much away because I want you to actually go and listen to it. I was thoroughly entertained. Like I said, I like NeNe. She's one of my favorite people. Even though she don't personally know me, I don't know her, but she is a friend in my head. I think she is a classy lady, and I just love the way she carries herself. So, in part two, Billy Carlo starts out the questions with, so why are you suing Bravo? And she said that she can't really say too much because the lawsuit is still going on, and she's not able to talk about it much. But she has gone to them a number of times, of course, through her attorney, and told them that she's willing to work things out, and they are just not interested. So they came to her, I believe, in season 12. I think she left the franchise in season 11, and they came to her in season 12 and told her, or season 15, I forget what season she said, but she says out of 20 episodes, they were willing to have her be part of 6 of those episodes. And she was like, no. I'm the originator of the Real Housewives franchise, which she is. If you guys don't know, it was NeNe's idea that she took to Bravo, which started the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And with that, they have all of these spin-offs with other Real Housewives shows all over the world, internationally. By now, they have Real Housewives of South Africa, we have Dubai, we have different places, but it was her original idea that got it started. And she does not feel like she's been treated fairly, and we can see that she has not been treated fairly. She is saying that they cited things like, oh, she's had a physical altercation with people, and to NeNe's point, she's like, show me where you've seen that I've had an altercation with anybody. They mentioned that she pulled Kim's wig, and I believe it was in season 2, and that was not the case. It was Sheree who did that, and she felt that because of her complexion, she felt that she was being treated like, Kim was being treated a little bit nicer. She was handled better than the other ladies. For instance, Kim did not have to go on cast trips with them. For whatever reason, she was able to stay home and still collect her check, whereas the other ladies had to leave their families, leave whatever business they had going on for the week or two that they had to film, and fly to other countries to make sure that they get the content for the franchise. And Kim did not go on not one trip the time she was with them, and she was still able to collect a check. So she felt that she wasn't coming to work and putting in the work. So Carlos then asked her, of course there were other questions going on around this, and he asked her, so what is the end result of this lawsuit? Is it you coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? NeNe says she doesn't really want to come back as a castmate, but because the fans have been asking that if she does get to come back, she will do it only for the fans, but she really doesn't want to come back. So he asked her, what do you want to do? She's like, well, I love to talk, so a talk show would be in the works. She said she had, he asked her about a deal that she had in the works with Denmar Mercury, the same production company who produced the Wendy Williams show. And she said they were in talks to have a talk show, and her and Wendy, who were friends at the time, had a falling out, and then all of a sudden she was told that they would not be moving forward. So Carlos was like, how was that delivered to you? But what method? She said her attorney came and told her that they would not be moving forward with the talk show, and the deal was dead. So he asked her, how do you feel about Wendy? She's like, well, I really liked her as a friend. Yes, I know she had her little quirky ways, there were other factors in play that caused her to behave differently at times, but I honestly considered her a friend. He then asked her, when is the last time you spoke to her? She said it's been a while. She said it was when, you know, they took her show off the air and they hadn't announced that she wasn't with the company anymore. But she said Wendy did reach out to her and try to make amends, but at that time she wasn't open to it. I guess, you know, the fact that she killed her deal, NeNe was like, no girl, now is not the time. So he says, okay, have you been watching this season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta? And she said no, but she's seeing clips. She doesn't really watch TV like that, and everybody knows that. So she said, from the clips that you're seeing, what are you saying? How do you feel about the season? She's like, none of the girls are bringing it. The only person that could say that is bringing it right now is Marlo. Other than that, the ladies are not showing up to work. They are not entertaining. They are just not bringing it. And I'm not watching this season. I'm sorry. I haven't watched since NeNe left. I'm like, in protest, I am not watching. So I haven't watched since NeNe left. But I do see the little clips, you know, on YouTube or wherever. And she said, he's asking about, you know, each of the castmates. He has a little game that he's playing with them. He has a game that he's playing with NeNe called Star or Starless. And then he goes down the line and asks, you know, who do you think is a star? And I think out of all the names that he named, I think it was only Kenya that she's like is star-ish, not starless. She said Candy is overrated and overpaid. Candy is not exciting, and she doesn't understand. She said they've worked it through since it happened, her and Candy's beef. Right now they're cool. They're not friends. They're cool, but she didn't understand why Candy was able to forgive Portia so easily, yet she held such a big grudge against NeNe. I'm jumping all over the place here. She's also saying that with Phaedra that the fans were robbed of a conversation between Phaedra and Candy because of what happened, and Phaedra didn't come back. But she said that a conversation needed to be had, and the fans needed to see that. But since then, I believe on Candy's YouTube channel, Speak on It, she had a conversation with her co-host, and she said she would never ever speak to Phaedra again, because now we're finding out that Phaedra took the lies off the show and into Candy's personal life, and it was damaging her business. So she says she can't trust her, so she doesn't want to be in any kind of space where Phaedra is. But I did a video on that, and deeper review of that interview she did with her co-host regarding that subject, and I'm gonna link it again above and in the description, so when it goes up you can watch it. But Candy talks about why she is not willing to even have a conversation with Phaedra at this point. So Carlos now asks NeNe. First of all, NeNe said, you know, Sweet 16 is coming up, and Carlos was like, what's that? She's like, season 16. So he said, what do you think the show needs? Because as we know, the ratings are dropping. So what do you think the show needs? And NeNe said that you need a whole new cast. She's like, there's so many interesting people in Atlanta, so many couples that could come on the show. We need a whole new cast at this point. We've seen everything that these people are doing, seen it, done it. There's nothing new to see. The only person I would keep on the show is Marlo and maybe Kenya. But she said at this point we need a whole new cast. Carlos asked her, why do you think in your era things are different than how it is now? So she says the showrunners, people behind the scenes, don't really know the cast. They don't know their families. They don't know what's going on in their lives. So they don't know how to actually get the show more interesting by bringing up certain questions that needs to be discussed. So she said, I'm giving you guys free game. Get to know your people, because that's going to make a huge difference. And like I said, she said, start with a whole new cast. They feel that there is no real anchor on the cast right now. Everybody is just all over the place. When NeNe was on it, everybody was looking to NeNe like, okay, what to do next? Carlos felt that they were trying to place Sheree in that space, but Sheree wasn't grasping it, so they're not focused on that anymore. So the next question he asked, he talked about her being friends with Wendy. She talked about her talk show just went away, and she felt like she was being blackballed. She said that's not the case now. She finally have something in the works. She felt that she should be as big as Kim Kardashian, Kim K, or if not bigger, because they both came on the scene at the same time. Yet Kim Kardashian's career was pushed and hers was left stagnant. Carlos asked her, who is the person that you felt, gave you a run for your money? And she said Claudia Jordan went toe to toe to her, and she respected her for that, because she was not about to let. She said, you told Claudia, girl, you gotta let me win now because I'm a star. And she said Claudia Jordan deserved her peach and deserved to come back season after season. She needs to be there. Carlos asked her, what do you want your legacy to be? She said, I want people to know that I'm a good person and I treat everybody fairly. And I want them to know that I fought for the girls. She said, yes, Portia, I fought for you. Yes, Claudia, I fought for you. And Miss Cynthia, I fought for you. Because as you know, NeNe and Cynthia also fell out. So she's like, I don't feel that the girls who I protected me. And you can't help that. That's just their personality. So you don't know, how to behave where that is concerned. So now NeNe turned the tables on Carlos. She's like, let me ask you some questions. She's like, do you think I was treated fairly? And Carlos got very emotional. He said what he had to say. And in the midst of that, he started crying. The gist of it, he's like, you paved the way for a lot of people. You created jobs for hundreds and thousands of people. Your idea has given a network a whole identity, because Bravo TV is known for the Real Housewives franchise. I mean, yes, there are other shows, but it was NeNe's show who actually got them where they were going. She's saying that in the beginning, she was able to talk, just, pick up the phone and call the executive, knock on their door and talk to them. At this point, she has to go through layers of people to get to the person that she needs to talk to. And most of the time, it doesn't happen. She said she felt she was blackballed, and, there is a grudge out there. Carlos says he feels that it is petty. Whatever is going on is not that big. They should just get into a room and for 3 hours, everybody go and hash it out, screaming, like how family does. Your family have problems. Everybody get together. You scream, cry, curse, then you hug and you go eat. So he felt that's what needs to happen. And then they need to move on. He says, you've done a lot for the industry. You've done a lot for the genre. And if it wasn't for you, a lot of us wouldn't have the jobs that we have. With Carlos being on the Bravo network, he was able to leave and start his own production company. And as we know, now he's doing the same thing on OWN with the Love and Marriage franchise. He even asked NeNe if she was willing to be part of the Love and Marriage Atlanta. And she's like, are you really doing it? He said, I'll do it if you come. So she said, right now I'm single, so there's no love, there's no marriage, but I could be that single friend that flirt with everybody's husband. He says that, like I said, they need to talk it out. He says there's a lot of ego in the way, and it is painful to watch what's happening to her. She asked him about the season. What do you think is going on with the season? Why is it not, trending? He said, because people are not showing up to work. And the husbands needs to be more involved, like we see on Love and Marriage Huntsville. The husbands need to be more involved, and the ladies need to show up and work. They're not showing up to work. So he says to her, you want to hear my idea of what I think the Sweet 16 cast should be? And she said yes. So he said it should be you, NeNe, Kim, Sheree, Kenya, Portia, Phaedra, and Candy. And the reason why it needs to be Phaedra and Candy is because the fans were robbed of a conversation, and because of that ruined the franchise. NeNe's picks were Portia, Candy, Marlo, Kenya, and she says she likes Drew and even Kim if Kim will show up at work. Oh my God, she's still friends. You know, she's still looking out for Kim as an OG. As long as she shows up at work, we will be good. And then NeNe asked Carlos, do you think it's time for a gay couple to be on the show? And he was like, you know, I think it is. The way the world is going, I think it is. And as we know, Atlanta have more than enough of those. There's plenty of choices right there. She asks Carlos if he's going to have a baby, if he wants a baby. And he says yes, because I want to leave my legacy to somebody. He said he wants two, a boy and a girl. And NeNe said, what are you going to name them? Cash and Money? Because as we know, I guess that's what Carlos is into. And he's like, yes, cash with a K. Oh my God. So he wants kids and he wants them now. She's like, you need to have them now because you're not getting any younger. She applauds him for doing the interview in person because his class office was not it. And since then, he's done an interview with Kenya where, you know, same sort of setup. So it's working. He wants NeNe and him to tour the country and just talk, you know, and invite some castmates along, not just the two of them. I'm sure that would work. I would attend one of those discussions, one of those panel discussions that they might be having. And then NeNe was like, so, how are you and Mr. Kanye West? And Carlos was like, well, girl, thank you for coming. So as we know, he's very private about his relationship. So he didn't want to talk about it. He asked her, what's going on in your life? Let us know what's going on with you. She says she has a foundation called Ladies of Success, which is focused on helping any woman around the world who's in the entrepreneurial spirit and want to be. So sign up to their website. I looked at the website. I just did a quick overview and I saw that it's a $250 sign up fee. So if you're interested in it, it's called ladiesofsuccess.com. So yes, guys, that was the part 2 of the interview with Carlos King and NeNe Leakes. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It answered a lot of questions that we all have, and it was just good to see. I've also done a review on his interview with Kenya, part 1, and that is up. I'm also going to link that down below so you can go and watch it. And until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your family. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.